What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala. It's been a while since we've done an episode, but it's because we are prepping for our live show this week.
Yeah, and we had the crazy experience of doing stand-up comedy. Our first ever stand-up comedy individual sessions for the first time last Saturday. And I mean, it's quite unfortunate we didn't plug it, but what was it about?
I mean, it was an open mic session that has been organized by Fuck a Fuzz, one of the biggest comedians in Singapore. So props to him for trying to get the comedy scene going.
Yeah.
And when we knew we had the live show coming up this week, we just asked him, hey, bro, is there a slot for Terence and I to test out our material first before going live this Thursday? And he very graciously gave us a slot each for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Terence, what was your overall thoughts if you could sum up the experience?
I think at one point in my life, I told my friend that I think stand-up comedy is easy. Like you just go on stage and you just say funny shit and everyone just laughs. It's much easier than writing a script or something like that. But now I really swallow my words. I take it back. Apologize to that friend. It really is its own art form that requires a certain level of understanding a crowd, performance, just self-awareness as well, right? Yeah, and you just learn so much about presentation skills in just doing a 5-minute set like that. How about you? What do you learn?
Presentation skill. I have a corporate presentation like that.
No, but really. I mean, just owning a crowd and owning the room, or even a table of people, right? Just how to tell a story to keep them from looking at the food or anything like that.
Because it was a room of 20 people who were there for comedy, right?
Yeah.
But it was still a small group. And yeah, if you've ever thought that, hey, you crack jokes in front of your friends at dinner, everyone laugh, fucking can do stand-up comedy. Fuck no, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's just, I mean, because we are in comedy, we do watch stand-up comedy, we know stand-up comedians, and I've always respected them. But now after doing it 5 minutes and, some of my jokes didn't land. Some people, then people laughed at places where there weren't meant to be laughs. So I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, it was a big step for us ahead of the upcoming show. But do you foresee yourself doing more stand-up in future?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the opportunity, and that's why I think I feel like we should have properly plugged it. I think Fuzz is going to try and make this a regular thing as well.
Yeah.
So we will push it next time we have a chance to do it.
And we might even get Fucker Fuzz on our podcast sometime soon. He was the guest of our first ever podcast in 2018 when this thing was still called a Moshroom, MOF Shroom. But yeah, I mean, so we will be performing this Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the National Library, the Drama Centre Theatre. The event is called A Dose of Comedy 2. And you can get your tickets at the link in the description, guys.
Yeah, so I guess that was our plug for the week. We didn't give the intro of what we do on our podcast.
Yes, exactly.
But we don't have to, because today is not one of those episodes again.
Yeah. It is not. The normal plug would be, this is your weekly show with multiple episodes where we dissect the latest and hottest current affairs, serious and goofy, with a touch of what, Terence?
Touch of humor.
But
again, today is not one of those episodes.
Yeah, because today is part 2 of our Ask Me Anything, otherwise known as Amma episode, which we recorded a couple of episodes ago.
If you're about to hit forward, let me just tell you on Spotify, let me just tell you that a lot of people actually have reached out to us and said they enjoyed the first episode of the AMA. And that's why we're doing a part 2 also, right?
Yeah.
So give it a chance. Don't go off just yet,
Yeah.
Yeah, just hang around for a bit.
But if you were thinking of going off, maybe just go, okay? I don't want people who are 50% interested and staying only because we asked you to stay. Actually, I'm kidding. Please stay. Please stay. But yes. So the last time we answered half the questions, and now this episode we're going to try and finish the other half.
Yes.
And it starts off with a question from Michael Slowbender. So these questions are all on our Yalabat subreddit. There's a thread we specifically put out for the Amma episode. So if you have other questions, just put it down. Maybe in a few weeks, in a few months, we will do another AMA. But until then, we have this question that goes, "Hey guys, I've been a huge fan of Ministry of Funny since the YouTube days, so I'm really glad to have found your podcast. Here are my questions. 5 questions. Number 1, how did you come up with the name Ministry of Funny?"
I think when we started, we were a collective of friends, right? And then I think we just came up with a few different names, and we just asked everyone which one your think is funny. And this one seemed to be the most popular one.
You mean there were other names?
I think there were a couple other options we were trying, Ministry of other things also.
But this was before even the first YouTube video, right?
Yeah, before the first YouTube video.
I think the crux of it was we wanted to make fun of the government, right?
Yeah. No. No. It's not about making fun of the government. It's we're all very old. We're boomers, so we remember Ministry of Sound. Remember Ministry of Sound, the club that used to be around there from the UK.
Yeah.
So Ministry of something sounded very cool.
And I mean, Singapore, I think when we were abroad, just explaining how the Singapore parliament or government is structured, there are a lot of ministries in Singapore, right? And in the US, you don't really hear it. In the UK, I assume there are because we probably took it from them.
Yeah.
But so that was how we came up with the name.
Yes.
Cool. Next question. East side or west side, and why? For me, east side because I grew up in the far east, Tampines. Now I'm still in the east. And I think it's the only reason I'm a Eastie is because I don't think I've seen enough of the West.
Yeah. Correct. And broadly, I would say east side also lah. I mean, I've lived mostly in central in my life, but just the vibe of the east side is much more chill. There's a beach and there's the airport and everything. So all the feelings that I get from the east side are about chilling out or going on holiday and things like that. Whereas the west side, it reminds you a bit of like when you go New York and LA, the difference. West side, you need a car and all that to get around.
And time slows down, right?
Yeah, the buildings are so far apart.
Slows down.
Then when they say, "Oh yeah, the MRT is just one street away," walao, is one big box street away. You walk across the whole of big box.
And I guess maybe everyone. I mean, there are people who might not know the West, but there will be. Everyone has experienced, or a lot of people have experienced the East at some point because, as you pointed out, the airport is there.
Yeah.
So if you have flown off, you have been to the East.
Yeah.
If you've gone to BMT at Tekong, you have been to the East. Yeah, but the only time you go to the West is unless you go to Tuas Link.
Tuas and Malaysia lah.
Yeah, Malaysia.
I guess
Malaysia.
for some people, the West has memories like that also.
Yeah.
But it just happens for us, no lah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And the next question: where is your favorite place in Singapore? Wow.
Interesting question.
Yeah. Where's yours?
I mean, okay, except home lah, right? Obviously, home is
home is where the heart is.
Home is one of those like people want to punch you kind of answers.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. You go ahead first. I haven't thought.
I think there's this one stretch before Changi Coastal Road, in between Changi Coastal Road and Changi Village, where there's this one pathway that I remember the first time I went there, it almost felt like I wasn't in Singapore because the plants are almost kind of like the needle-like plants where you would imagine, oh, I'm in autumn in somewhere abroad. And we actually used that in a video that we made where we faked traveling around the world. And I think that is one of the places like whenever I go to, I'm like, fuck, this is awesome. I know Changi Coastal Road has changed. I know the new airport has pushed some boundaries.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's still there, but that comes to mind.
Okay. I think for me, it would be Sentosa. Broadly speaking, Sentosa is of course...
Tanjong Beach Club, is it?
Actually, I was going to say Tanjong Beach specifically, but not the club. Like there's space beside Tanjong Beach Club. Before COVID and everything, it was actually very easy to go there with your dogs and just hang out. And so I've back then when I was still like going out with a lot with my dogs and all, we would go to the beach like every month or something and just like and early in the morning at 7 in the morning and just let the dogs run, and it was a pretty awesome time. It really reminds me of a time from pre-COVID and even pre being a dad and everything that you just very liberally could do that and just hang out on a beach and realize that living in a tropical country has its perks as well.
And I think I have to agree with the niceness of Tanjong Beach because I mean when I hear Tanjong Beach Club, I'm not gonna lie, like something in me is like bleh, But of all the beaches in Sentosa, that area towards the opposite end of Tanjong Beach Club is actually super nice.
Yeah. Correct.
And I have.
And we filmed there before as well, right? We filmed there.
What did we film? Huh?
We filmed She's a Terrorist and I Love Her. Like,
Oh yeah.
there was a couple. There's a key scene in the pilot that the terrorist comes out from the water, and we actually filmed at Tanjong Beach itself.
And that was also making fun of Tanjong Beach. Tanjong Beach Club. Tanjong Beach Club.
Yeah, we have a lot. I think I have a lot of good memories of that.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so that's a favorite place. Okay, what's your most memorable interaction with a fan?
Oh, I think this one you probably have more stories.
I think the one that comes to mind is there was once this girl who just started crying. I mean, we're crying in a good way, lah. Okay.
What were you doing?
No, I went to watch a performance with my friends at I think Sota or something, and I came out. She saw me, and then I think it was the kind of excited kind of cry.
Are you sure she was crying about you? Or
No, because after that she asked to take a selfie. Like her friend asked herself.
Maybe she just broke up with her boyfriend or something. Then
I mean, she wasn't like she was a young teenager, I guess. Yeah,
okay.
so I don't think that kind of like older person lah. So there's one that comes to mind. It's memorable lah. And after that, she took a selfie. So I don't think it's because I creeped out or anything, or I was doing anything creepy or anything bad lah.
So that was your best fan interaction?
No, they say most memorable.
Most memorable. Oh.
Most memorable. That comes to mind.
The one I have that comes to mind is the one you told me about. I live vicariously through Harish, as you can tell.
Which one?
The one you told me where after one of our live shows, a listener came up to us and said, the listener came up to us and mentioned that, listening to Yalla But really helped this particular listener get over, I think there was a death in the family or something, and they felt lost and they just really needed comedy and humor in their life. And then it just happens Yalla But was there, 2 times, 3 times a week. And apparently we gave this particular listener a lot of comfort during that period. And I wasn't even there because I had retreated backstage already. I thought like nobody was there to watch us at all. When Harish told me about it, I was like, oh shit, like that makes me feel like, like our podcast is really, maybe that's what we were meant to do, as opposed to running around picking up girls in school uniforms and all that.
Fuck, now you make my memorable interaction sound so stupid.
No, but that's the thing.
Fan.
People don't recognize me as much because I'm not in front of camera so much, right?
That's true, that's true. But now, okay. And I do remember that interaction, and hopefully you're still listening to the podcast. Yeah. To the girl who cried when she saw me and cried in anticipation and excitement, might I add. I also hope you're listening to the podcast. Okay, what's one quality you really admire about each other?
I think I said it during the studio podcast. I said, I think Harish, one amazing thing, he's always super gung-ho to get his hands dirty and to do shit lah. So it's it's a quality that you find in younger people that is they're like willing to start from zero, learn something from scratch and everything. But as you get older, it's actually really hard to keep up that kind of that level of energy or that level of curiosity, so to speak, or even maybe some level of humility as well to be able to do that. So I think that in that aspect, it is something quite admirable, I think. Yeah.
So you couldn't think of something new, is it, to say apart from no, I'm kidding. I appreciate that.
I really think about this. As in, I know I shit on the Subaru challenge. I shit on a lot of your habits about like Excel spreadsheets or like stickler for being on time and all that kind of thing. I shit on a lot of that. In fact, we just had an argument before this about
this
that.
Morning, yeah.
But I shit on it. But at the same time, I totally understand where it's coming from, and I totally see how it can also be a very good quality lah. And like the Subaru challenge thing, although it was completely pointless. You're doing it for material goods, and I hate that aspect of it. But the fact that you even participate in it and went in with the aim to win and not just to participate, that is like, and you did it for how many years straight, right? 3 years. That is, it takes a level of like, you either hate your life or something like that to do it. That's why I find that a lot of people will not be able to do it because they're too comfortable with what they have, or they're not willing to subject themselves to that kind of pain. Yeah.
So the Subaru challenge came up again.
It's my challenge. So I'm trying to put it out there that as much as I laugh about it, I also, would I do that in that same situation? Probably not.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
So on my end, I think one thing that I don't know if I've said this to you before, but I think I personally can be quite volatile in terms of pessimistic, optimistic, or like angry or not angry and all that. And I think Terence has a very calming presence.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't have I told you this before? No, right?
No, I mean we've discussed it before.
Yeah,
we discussed it before.
Yeah, and I think it's super fucking important because when I'm optimistic, I feel like I change the world.
Yes.
And like,
but when you're pessimistic,
I can be a downer. I won't deny that. I can be a downer. I'm like, hey, really? Why you want to do this? I don't think can. So I think that's something I appreciate about Terence, because whenever I'm down, like you do help me kind of like, okay, it's not that bad. We can just keep doing it. We can do this. But when I'm also too excited about stuff, do this. I think you also kind of like help me manage my energy and all that. Of course, it results in some tension. Sometimes I'm like, why can't we do this? But I really appreciate the balance.
No, people ask us about that. About the tension in working, especially creatively. So I think creatively, when you put yourself out there, it's very hard. So you rarely hear of creative people working in groups, and that's why when you hear of it, actually it's really quite fascinating how it works and I do. So you see the things that we're talking about, admiring about each other, right? They're complementary, right? Like, I'm not the one I'm the type that takes I need a lot of activation energy to get moving, even if I'm excited about something. Whereas you're the type that immediately you're already like, I want to go and do it next week already, that kind of thing. Yeah, like, hey, no. So it brings us to a bit more of a balanced kind of thing where we're like, okay, let's go at it. For me, it's like, let's go at it long term, but we got to manage our energy. Yours is like, no, let's keep pushing at it. So at least there's forward momentum overall, right? That's the important thing.
Yeah, and I think like it's helpful, because if both of us were one of the same, I think it'd be fucking terrible.
Very hard.
Yeah, it'd be fucking hard. So like when people say, like, what I would think last time about the wacky and the stoic between me and you.
Yeah, you seem like the wacky one, then Terence is like the straight talker.
Yeah, I think kind of personality wise also there's truth to that. I'm definitely volatile.
Yeah. Not a bad thing. People say it's passionate, and people can also say that I'm very dispassionate or distant about it. But I also feel very strongly about things. But I like to, like try and root it in a bigger context, and then make decisions from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you for the questions, Michael Slowbender. All right. Next question from Iced Earl Grey Latte.
Oh, this is a long-time listener.
Yeah, long-time listener. Yeah. How do you think podcasting scene is going to go in Singapore? Seems like it has been pretty rapid local growth in the last year or so, though they mostly sit down and chat types and less investigative or topic-driven types like Saga. What do you think?
I think there's going to be a lot of talking people who do podcasts because they want to reach their own audience, and they're more talking, conversational kind of podcasts. But even Sudhir, like, he just posted over the weekend about our podcast. He said that he doesn't believe in long form podcasts where people just talk like this. And our experience also was that at first we never believed that we would be able to do just us sitting down and talking and making it interesting. But we have managed to make it work. So I think there's a space for that. And you're going to see more of those coming up. But it's going to work for some people, it's not going to work for some people. I can't give a better answer than that, because sometimes it's just very subjective. For the Saga and those written kind of podcasts, they are going to happen, but I believe it will still take at least a couple of years before people actually even before the masses even try this kind of entertainment. We're quite far behind in that aspect.
Yeah, I think for me it's almost like a sequential thing. Like the investigative and topic driven types, they require a lot of resources, a lot of writing, And I mean, as much as our podcast is conversational, we do a lot of research beforehand. But even then, it is based on current affairs, lah, right? If you want to do a topic driven or investigative, you have to spend time. You need to get good people to spend time, which I mean, it's going to be tough to find people to do it for free, lah, right? So I think that's when the general landscape of podcasts has evolved to a point where people are funding podcasts, be it brands, be it networks, be it Spotify, more local podcasts, then you would see that. So I think there's definitely a demand and a potential supply for it, but it will be an evolutionary process. So if you look at YouTube also, from 2011, 2012, at first it was people vlogging in front of their cameras. But then eventually, now there are like movies that are released on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I'm super excited about it because I think there's so much potential.
But the uncertainty of it also kind of scares me. Like they just recently tweaked the algorithm for podcast charts
On Spotify.
on Spotify, and I mean, Yalla Butt has plunged.
We've tumbled down.
We've tumbled down from our top 20 position that we maintained for quite a while already.
Yeah.
To now we're somewhere 50 something.
Yeah, I think the past week we've only uploaded one episode, I think. So that one probably factors in.
But the thing is, we don't know what factors into this podcast charts either.
Yeah.
And then if you imagine you just wake up one day and then your wife or your girlfriend just tell you, you're terrible today, you are the worst person in the world.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
tomorrow you're like, oh, you're the best. And
Then someone got a live show coming up somewhere. You're like, you're terrible.
You're terrible. Then you're like, how that deals with your ego, even though you know that maybe it's like it comes from a place where they also don't know what they're talking about.
No, and the biggest thing is like we don't even know what is powering the algorithm, because the number 2 on the charts now is the MediaCorp Chinese radio show or something.
Yeah.
And they upload 1-minute clips.
Yeah.
And they're number 2 on the Spotify podcast chart. So I think, what you're getting at is quite true in the sense that ultimately the podcast landscape, the nice thing now is that it's very fractured. You can upload your podcast here, you can listen through Apple, you can listen through Spotify. But once these companies get more and more market share, right, like Spotify is becoming scarily powerful. If they tweak something, right, they can literally fuck over a bunch of podcasters. So that is the scary part, which we have seen on YouTube, which we have seen on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's why we are super appreciative of this community and all you listeners, because I think starting a podcast now would be, now it feels like the platform is already making things a little less level.
Yeah. I mean, and Reddit, our subreddit is a constant. At least we know that there's these people who constantly listen to our show.
Yeah.
Whereas like if we went from top 20 to suddenly top 50 overnight,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh
The
fuck,
discovery,
did we just lose like 200 listeners or something,
Yeah, fucks, yeah. So, but we're still going to keep cranking this up because we do believe in it. And that's also the reason why we launched something like Folklory, because the audio space is so powerful. Just a side plug, the response to Folklory has been pretty damn awesome. And we're going to be probably doing another call for sales in the next few weeks. But now we're working through the ones that for the people who have already responded. Cool. All right. The next question is from Juinron, Juinron. What do you plan to do after retiring?
Wow.
What the fuck is even retiring mean these days, man?
Yeah, I don't even think I can afford to think that far yet.
Do you ever foresee yourself like at a certain point, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to do any more work stuff, I'm just going to do what I love?
No, but that's the thing. I genuinely really enjoy what I'm doing for so-called work. Of course, there's off days and there are times when you have disappointments or people fuck you over and things like that. But I enjoy it so much that not saying I'll do it for free, but I can't see myself not like trying to do something at some point in my life. Even if it's just making videos of my family or my dogs or anything like that. It's just the creative outlet is just too strong already.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many people out there, even for the people listening now, if you want to let us know on Reddit, that would be great, because I don't know how many people out there still have this picture in their mind where at a certain point, okay, this is assuming that the circumstances allow them to, are not forcing them to carry on working, because there are people like that. But if you had a choice, do you still see yourself 65 and then boom, I'm going to go live on an island or something? Because I cannot imagine that. I totally cannot imagine that, because there's stuff like I'm very thankful for discovering I love to do, and what tickles my loins, and I want to be able to keep doing that in some way, shape or form.
Yeah. And isn't there the research that a lot of people, obviously there are like prodigies that peak, in their teens or their 20s, and then everything they create is fantastic from there on. But there are those that also, they slog at it their whole lives, and then suddenly in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s, they suddenly hit a creative peak and like all the best work they ever produced in their life is produced.
I think
then.
Morgan Freeman is an example of that, right? He peaked like 40s or something. Like he suddenly got his break.
Oh yeah. I mean,
even-
but that's about getting a break. But I'm talking about like composers and people who create shit like like there's two peaks. Some of them peak very early on in their 20s, and then there are those that they just build over time. Then they peak in their 40s and 50s, maybe when they are less encumbered with worldly pursuits, so to speak. So my biggest fear always is that like if you give up so early, then you also you lose maybe what might have been your most productive years.
My biggest fear is that I peaked in JC. Peaked in JC, peaked in uni, and then after that it's like, whoa, what is going on?
Don't even say JC. Maybe a school uniform,
secondary school.
pickup video. School uniform pickup video was our peak. Already,
That's why I was our peak, man. 250,000 views in 1 week at a time when that was like fucking massive.
Then I remember calling Harish. I was like, hey, banana message us eh.
Yeah, that's why, wow,
banana message
hey,
us,
NOC commented, yeah. Oh my god, wow.
The 3 potatoes also said it's damn funny.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe that was the peak.
Yeah, that was the peak. That was the peak.
Okay, yeah. But.
Cool. The next question from That Tragedy. What's the situation for MOF? There are 3 questions. First question, what's the situation for MOF?
Oh, you mean like the YouTube channel? I mean, it's still there. You can find our videos there. You'll find basically any video or TV or film related stuff that we do will still be discussed and promoted through there. It's just that now the projects we work on now a lot of them are bigger projects that take longer to actually come to fruition. So you won't see it as much. I mean, but the short form videos, I guess they're asking about our short form videos, right?
I mean, short form videos, I think like right now, like with this podcasting thing, we are really putting in as much as we can behind this with folklore and with this longer form projects like the 2 TV shows that we have that one is out, one is in post-production. We have an audio pilot with Audible coming out. So it is these projects. And I mean, even personally, I feel a lot more excitement creating bigger projects than I do shorter form videos, to be honest. But there is always an itch to create something. Like it's just managing like, okay, what can we do to the best of our abilities at this point in time? Yeah, that's what I feel. And I think also like, I mean, I never want to be a channel where like it's just 10 years down the road still doing the same format. I know.
Who does that?
I know.
Who does that? Come on.
I know.
Who does the same thing
who are we
after
talking?
10 years?
Oh, we were talking to someone about this on another podcast. I think for me, it's just I think it's very important that given that this industry is not the easiest, you need to be excited about what you're doing. And right now, the stuff I'm excited about doing is podcast, the longer form stuff, folklore.
Yeah, I take that back. I'm not mocking people who are still doing similar things on YouTube after so long. It means it works, and maybe every day there's a new person born, to watch their videos and everything. And if it works, it's stupid to walk away from it also, right? So, but for us, I think we always saw our YouTube as a experimental playground as well, where we tried a lot of different formats and we tried a lot of different themes and things, but over time we figured out for ourselves what we really enjoy doing and what we maybe enjoy doing less. And so definitely, like you see, vlogging never became a thing for us. We never like, oh, this is our personal lives and this is my family, my baby and stuff like that. So you will never see us do that. But like we're still writing out funny stuff with, like we mentioned, we're trying out stand-up comedy and all these things. So so I hope our YouTube can remain as an experimental place for us as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be like, oh, never going to upload an episode. Who knows, man? We might do release a web series. There's a lot of fun to be had, and we are exploring.
Yes.
Okay, did you guys date while studying overseas? If yes, are they better than SG girls?
What? Oh, this is a landmine.
Walao.
Yeah.
So how?
I mean, obviously we dated. Obviously I did date while overseas. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Okay, well, can we just clarify the parameters of what we're talking about? Just going on dates and all that, right? Don't need to talk about all the hanky panky or whatever kind of stuff,
Yeah, you mean where we sit down, talk about life and then go back home and have hot milk, right?
Yeah, go out for coffee.
Yeah, go out for coffee. I think so. I was never in a long-term relationship abroad, But yeah, like did date hard to say whether better than SG girls, because now what is a SG girl? In Singapore you get girls of all types. I would say if someone maybe like you also find people in the US who haven't traveled much and like have very conservative mindsets. So hard to say whether they are better than SG girls. Of course, some of them were fucking amazing, but also in Singapore they are fucking amazing girls. But some of them were assholes, and Singapore you get assholes lah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I have a lot of experience dating foreigners or anything like that. But I do find Singaporeans seem to get along quite well naturally with Germans.
Is it?
For some reason, yeah. For some reason. That's all I'll say about that. But at the same time, it's because I think when you are studying overseas, you tend to take on a more international mindset in terms of seeing the world. And that's the same for other people who go overseas to study as well. And then when you're all in the same place together, you think much less about, like Singaporeans are so unattractive because of our accent and or because we are so small-minded and stuff like that. And you really focus more on the similarities between you and the other person, like living in the city or, like enjoying art or things like that. So in some sense, it's quite, you do get when you're dating overseas, it's more of maybe you're not so worried about things that you worry about in Singapore, like what will your parents think or what will your friends think.
Just let go.
Yeah,
Go wild.
let go, yeah.
Let
Your
go.
personality run free and everything already,
Yeah.
And you can be, tonight you're Bruce Wayne, tomorrow you are fucking Batman and shit, yeah.
I don't know what kind of stuff you did in your free time, Bruce Wayne, Batman.
No, I'm just saying, like, you are, when the cool thing about being overseas is that you feel anonymous again. Whereas in Singapore, you feel like you went to this school, you stay in this place, you take an MRT here,
Got a lot of preconceived notions.
Yeah, there's a lot of preconceived notions about you. The moment you meet a person, what job you do, how much you earn, where you stay, what car you drive. Whereas when you're overseas, everyone is sort of like, I came from Singapore, or I came from Lebanon or whatever, and
you live in a dorm lah.
Yeah, you live in a dorm, or when I was working in New York, so you just live somewhere and all that lah. So,
actually, that's true. Because I only studied abroad, so if I study 2 years in Singapore, 2 years in the US, then I think I'll be able to more objectively answer, girls at that age, how are they different?
Yeah.
But I don't know, when you're a student, you live in a dorm, just get drunk, go back home, like it's just a lot more simple.
Yeah, and you see a lot of Singaporeans rewrite their CVs, right, somewhat when they go overseas. Like they suddenly have a very cool, like they have a Chinese name at first that's very uncool.
Then
they go overseas, then they're my name is Z, or like
collapse
Z.
it down to one alphabet.
And like they have an accent like overnight, and then suddenly they're all hanging out only with like non-Singaporeans, and they actively avoid hanging out with Singaporeans, if anything.
And then they change the way they talk. Oh, I'm from Singapore. Where are you from?
Yeah. So that's the fun part about being overseas, is that you can really be someone else, right?
But the one thing I really tried my best when I went abroad was not to put on an accent. Because I used to fucking hate when you get people from all around the world with like accents and they speak shit English, but everyone's like, oh my god, that's so cool. Oh, he's Latino. Oh my god. And I was like, I look at the Singaporean people who change accents. I'm like, hey, fuck lah. No. Why are we changing for them to make it easier for them to understand us lah? I mean, I still enunciated better, and I will say that for the first 3 months, some of my closest friends told me they really couldn't understand what I was saying when I would go into the room and just start talking. But then towards the end, I could talk like this, and they would still understand me, and I fucking was so proud of that.
Then what's up with the omelette thing?
Omelette, that one. No, so omelette is like how. So like the reason why I didn't want to change the Singaporean accent is because I grew up with a Singaporean accent. So I'm like, fuck you. So omelette, I grew up with the omelette. I grew up with the omelette, and that's my family tradition. Okay. Yeah, it's my family tradition. You come into my house, you have an omelette. You want an omelette? You go to another house. Yeah.
But AJ, I think Harish makes a damn good point. To communicate with international people, you don't need to have an accent. Just enunciate, speak slower, and enunciate. The problem is that Singaporeans, we swallow our words and we join them too quickly together. So just enunciate and speak slower, and nobody will think you're an idiot, lah.
Yeah,
right?
And I guess now I'm hoping the situation is different because with everyone being a little more connected than they were 10, 11 years ago, hopefully people are, not like, wow, when they hear an accent, they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, what is this?
Correct.
So yeah. All right. Then the next question, who would win in a fight, Terence or Harish?
Wow.
So this is assuming it's a physical fight lah.
let's make it MMA rules. Like cannot hit back of the head.
Yeah.
Cannot knee a person while he's like down the ground.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I mean, I will say, okay, so previously when I was young, I used to think I can take on anyone. Like, size doesn't matter. But now once you get older, you realize, okay, size and physics do matter. Right? And Terence is bigger and heavier than me. So I think if it's MMA rules, I would say, I think it's going to be very hard for me to win. But I would say that I will fucking cause some damage to you because I don't think I will give up.
Yeah, he won't give up and you'll go for the limbs probably. Which is for bigger people is very sensitive.
Why would you say I go for the limbs?
Like wrestling or jiu-jitsu, that kind of thing. That's where you overcome size differences, right?
Yeah.
Like because I mean boxing, all that is at the end of the day is really down to size also, right? But
and your reach and all.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu and all that is very different. So yeah, I got very weak limbs.
I mean, if people are willing to pay like $100 a pop, we might do a live fight, right? A thriller, yeah.
Hey, we will take on Jake Paul, man, anytime.
Hey, now Jake Paul, Ben Askren is nothing. It's fucking Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. What the fuck, man?
I mean, my dream was always to...
Holy shit.
Yeah, my dream was always to see Jian Hao box somebody, whether it was Stephen Lim or something.
No, that's like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen Lim...
he's a killer, man.
Yeah, he's a killer, man.
Yeah, scary.
So yeah.
But yeah, if someone was willing to charity or what, willing to pay for you
white
to
collar boxing.
Yeah, for you to fight someone, who will you fight? Who will you choose to fight?
Who would I choose to fight?
No, it has to be in the YouTube or whatever space lah. Don't say you want to fight like Lawrence Wong or something like that.
Singapore YouTube, Singapore YouTube. Is it?
Yeah. I think Noah Yap and you.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be fucking funny, man.
I think it would be quite exciting.
Me and Noah Yap. Yeah. That could be fun. That
would be funny to watch. That'd be fun.
Yeah. You?
Me, wow. That's a tough one. I don't know. Maybe I can't think of anyone right now. I mean, I got no real beef with anybody or anything like that.
So maybe we should get into a fight. I will say that even though like the chances of me winning is tough because of physics and all, I think strategically maybe there's something I could do. All I know is I won't go down easily.
Yeah. That's the part. So even every is a battle of attrition. That's what I think it would be. So it's still quite harmful for everyone involved. But thanks for sowing the thoughts in our mind.
Next time we got no gig or anything, we're like, hey, fight. Live stream fight. Yeah, live stream fight. Then after that, do a podcast after that. Okay, speaking of the future of Yalabat, Stale Roti asks, what are you doing proactively to take Yalabat to the next level? How do you see the future of Yalabat?
I think you'll start seeing Yalabat on more different platforms soon.
Platforms, you mean like what?
YouTube and TikTok. Because we have heard your feedback about a lot of people saying, hey, why aren't you uploading videos and stuff like that? So we're actually looking to it right now as we speak.
As we speak. Like there are cameras rolling, man. Because we I do see this Yalabat thing carrying on for a long time. And I mean, if things go a certain way, if we can kind of get a team in or some sort to help with the production stuff, research, maybe. We never want to lose the authenticity of having these sort of conversations. But there could be other shows. There could be other platforms like what Terence said, other content formats. It could spin out into a TV show, for example. Who knows? Who knows? But we do listen to what you guys say. And next step is video.
So different platforms. So you will be able to engage and share and do more things for Yalabat, with Yalabat. Merch as well. We had a very exciting meeting last week with
exactly.
potential merch. And like that actually has a real impact on your life.
Exactly. And if things pan out, which they quite likely they will, we would involve you guys as well. So stay tuned. All right. Big Sloth Boy. 3 questions. Funniest moment on set.
Do you have one?
Thinking.
Oh, I think I have one right now. Just the recent Chinese web series we did. There's one particular scene where our producer, or at least she's Harish producer, Jordan, was playing an extra. and it was a party scene, and he was just sitting in the corner. It was a party scene where he was just sitting in the corner. So he already looked like, the big loser already. And he's an extra in the background. And then I think there's this point where Noah, he's acting drunk and he takes a cup and just like drinks from it and then flings the cup behind him. And just by magic, the cup actually hits Jordan square in the face.
And we have it on
and we have recorded it, and it will be in the show. So it's one of the most like iconic. I mean, not iconic. It's just one of the funniest sequences, and we just continue filming. Like even though it was like such a shock to everyone, that the cup hit him in the face. So that was like just everyone just like was just holding it for until someone shouted cut lah.
I think for me, funniest moment on set. I think I remember when we did
we're talking only about Ministry of Funny Productions. Or are you talking about like in general?
No, Ministry of Funny.
Okay.
I know when we did the Nest Daily parody video where we got our friends from the Singapore Pro Wrestling who were like jacked as guys, jacked people, and they're always about and then we met at Scape. We were going to film at Orchard Road. And the thing, if you watch the video, which we will put the link in the show notes, it involves a bunch of them wearing diapers, adult diapers on the street running. And I remember, these guys, they're all awesome guys, very like jacked and all, and we met at Scape. But when they put on the costume, and when it came time to take off their clothes and wear just the diapers on Orchard Road, right? Yeah. Suddenly you could see, really oh shit, why? Like these people who have performed in their underwear in front of hundreds of people. I was just fucking, and everyone was just laughing like, hey bro, you take off first, you take off first. Hey bro, quick. They just like 5 dudes in adult diapers running along Orchard Road, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that fucking sticks in my head.
And it was right opposite Abercrombie and Fitch as well.
Correct.
It's pretty
That's
funny.
true. Okay, the next question from Big Sloth Boy. Detailed explanation on how you two met.
How detailed?
I mean, I think essentially when I went to uni first year, you didn't go for the orientation in Singapore, right?
No, I don't think so.
I went on campus, then there was a Club Singapore meeting.
Yeah.
And then I saw Terence being part of the executive committee.
Yeah, but I mean, when we say meeting, it was probably very casual. Like, it could have been over a barbecue or something like that.
Correct, yeah.
So it's not one of those, like, there's nothing spectacular about how we met or anything like that. It's just, hey, hello. Like,
Then I think I worked with Terence because freshman rep had to, there was supposed to be a freshman rep nominated by the freshmen, and I was nominated. So I used to join the committee for their meetings. And Club Singapore essentially is a super fun thing where the team organizes events to keep the Singaporeans in touch with each other and all. And that's when I started seeing Terence more regularly.
Yeah. Or actually, if you want more detail, the fun thing is that I think we all got involved in Club Singapore at a point when it got exciting to be in Club Singapore, because we previously before us, like all the Club Singapore activities were all barbecue here, barbecue there, but nothing. They didn't really do anything on campus. It wasn't like people were interested about what the Club Singapore is doing in the American university campus. Then it just happened that the year that we were both in the committee and all that, we all decided collectively, let's do something big lah. Let's like get all the US university, the Singaporeans in the US, students studying in the US, to come together, to want to come to our school and engage in something lah. So it just started like a small idea like that. Then we just started reaching out to people like the ambassador Chan Heng Chi,
Colin
Francis
Goh
Xiao,
from TalkingCock.com.
Colin Goh, who was living in the US at that point, Alfian Syed, who was happened to be in America at that point and just needed us to fly him to Philadelphia, and a couple other people, Singaporeans who were living in the US, who were all very keen to come lah. And then somehow, and then after that, we also had a very talented writer director in our midst, who is now one of Singapore's literary scene geniuses, Joshua Yip. He was also one of the Singaporeans there, and he said, I can put a musical together. And he and his brother really wrote and directed and produced a musical about the Singaporean life in universities overseas, which was very well received. And from there on, even the Singapore government, like the office overseas, noticed us and gave us funding, and it became like every 2 years, there will be this event called Diaspora, like the wordplay on diaspora, and where Singaporean students in the East Coast will all come to University of Pennsylvania for like a weekend to just celebrate being Singaporean and overseas. So I think that was the fun fact about so-called about how we met, and it was almost like we were working on something very intense together, without knowing that later we would work together even more intense things.
I'm glad you ended off that way, because at first I was like, is Terence just talking about the thing that he started when he was Club Singapore president for 3 minutes and blowing his own fucking trumpet?
No, I'm not. And I always remind everyone that for me it was easy because I was not a scholar, right? So I had no to me it was just like, these people come, don't come, I don't care. But there were a lot of people working in a committee like yourself. Now yourself less impacted, but there were people who were literally scholars for the Singapore government, right?
Really? They were afraid of like us inviting Francis Yao, all, is it?
Yeah, I mean, we're inviting exiles from Singapore to come to speak alongside Chan Heng-chi, people who are revered. And
so there were some who were like, should we?
You saw Sudhir's face the last round when we told him Chan Heng-chi and Francis Yao were in the same room at the same time, right? That's the kind of fireworks that we were creating that in Singapore you would never hear of, So to have the liberty to do that and not have to worry about whether my scholarship officer get angry, that kind of thing, I think is a luxury. So I always, I was always like as much as like starting it and all that was important, but I think being able to see it through, especially when it could also impact your career or what, I think that is like fucking brave, So I'm not blowing my own horn.
You're too late. You blow so much already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we worked. But even then, I think we have spoken before that when we came back to Singapore, it still took a while before MOF got started in 2011.
Yeah.
But yes, okay, the final question from Big Sloth Boy is funny moments while filming out in public.
In public. Yeah.
I mean, just now my moment was already in public. So normally when we were filming out in public, I would be on the street, wired up, and Terence would be either behind the camera or kind of managing the whole shoot while our cinematographers behind the camera. So we both had very different experiences. When you were watching things unfold and me approach the people, were you ever like, what are some of the funny things that came, like, you remember?
I mean, there are, because we did a lot of hidden camera stuff, right? So hidden camera kind of setups are always quite exciting when you are behind the scenes watching everything go on. I mean, the funniest things probably would be just when you watch a hidden camera prank like work, like for example our racism against Caucasians prank that was in a cafe, and when it works, and it really works, it's just it's funny, and it's just a thing of beauty, and like everyone's just struggling to not burst out in laughter while we're all like monitoring sound or holding a camera and all that, and yeah, there's all these. I can't identify one particular one, but all these moments are funny, Yeah, and they really do. I always feel like they are always reflected in our videos, where you even feel like the person behind the camera has to have a big part in keeping it all together, because we're trying to play a prank on people.
Yeah. For me, funny moments, I always felt like very, very nervous and tense when we're doing the on the street videos where I have to approach people. Yes. And even though we did a lot of them, I always had like, do I have to do this? Fuck!
Yeah.
Why? But so I would say funny, like I think it would be, when you are setting something up or you get a good reaction or a good line from someone, then it's fucking awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
I would say the one when we dressed you up as a K-pop star. Disguised you as a K-pop star, and then went down Orchard Road with a group of fans like following you and all. I think that was like just watching crowd reactions and even just people just stopping to take a picture or what. That was funny in itself. That whole hour of just walking down the street was just funny.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't seen that video or anything, and if you're just listening to us as Yalabat and not Ministry of Funny, I'll put a link in the description to a video where I wore a wig, makeup, and we had a ensemble of planted security guards that walked around me in Orchard Road, and fucking people came up to take photos. It was insane, man.
Yeah.
Me as a K-pop star.
Yeah.
Those
that was
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next question's from Cranky Intern. Hi, Harish and Terence. Love you guys and everything that you have done for us. And heart shape. Thank you. You're welcome. We love doing this. Here are my questions. Number one, who is the person you're most grateful to throughout your life? I think at different stages of life. Hard to say one person.
But you have to
If I have to put one
give a
person.
speech now, lah.
A few cannot. You got one person.
I mean, okay, then let's put some parameters to make it easier, lah.
I think you need to come.
Oh, sorry. I was just telling Harish. Then we put some parameters to make it easier. Not family.
Okay.
Because I think everyone, you have to thank your parents or whatever,
Yeah,
right? So let's just make it blanket, not family. That means not your girlfriend, not your wife, not your parents, not your brother, whatever. So it's someone outside, lah.
Yeah.
So then that question, like, who are you most grateful to?
I think actually grateful to you, Terence.
Really?
No, what like one definitely one off.
Yeah.
One off because I think doing stuff like creative stuff or venturing out on your own is fucking scary. 1%.
Correct.
And having someone to do it with is great lah. Even though I know we got differences. I don't know whether you're changing your answer now already.
Adding parameter that because we already just now said what's the most memorable thing already. Like.
Yeah.
Okay, adding parameter, not ourselves also. Lah.
Chibai.
Because it's
okay.
It's almost like you're working with somebody, obviously you'll be grateful to them.
Okay.
Right? So besides that.
Chibai, now you know I'm grateful for you and I'll never know whether you're grateful to me.
I already gave a damn good answer on what the quality I admire the most. Really.
Okay. So one. Okay, then I need you go first. I'm thinking.
I think I've had a few good mentors, so to speak. One of them is the fashion designer Lai Chan. I've known him and worked with him for quite a long time, and always I don't see him super often, but every time I do talk to him and all, he gives me pretty good advice, and even my wedding and things like that, he was one of my best friends. And we don't look like the kind of people that would actually be able to get along as friends and all that, but I think he's got a very big heart, and when we first met each other, also in the work context, he saw that I was trying hard to come from a different industry to make it in media and all that, so he was very welcoming and taught me quite a bit also yeah.
Actually, yeah, on that note, I think the one person who kind of helped me realize a lot of things or opened my eyes a lot was the current CEO of Scoot. He was the CEO when I joined, then he went back to SIA and now he's CEO again, Campbell Wilson. And the reason why it was so transformative was because I was 2 years into my 4-year bond at Singapore Airlines, and I think I didn't really fit or resonate with the culture of Singapore Airlines. No disrespect to them. But 2 years in, I found a way to kind of get myself onto the team that started Scoot. I was the 9th employee. But it was only because he saw my email and decided to take a chance on me, given I had no experience.
And the context, I think, is that SIA is a very
corporate,
very corporate company. So it's not the kind of thing where you just email anyone and then they'll definitely reply you, right?
So what actually happened was I was 2 years in, and SIA and a lot of big companies, they have rotations for their admin officers, right? The people on the track, the management track. So I was 2 years in, and I could foresee myself going to some other aspect of the company that I wasn't super excited about. And then I read in the news that they were starting this new low-cost carrier. And I was like, hey, fuck, big company starting a new project, confirm need Saikang Warriors. Even to do like the most mindless stuff. So then I used to write the minutes for one meeting where the chairman was the CEO of SIA. So one night at about 4 a.m, I think I just emailed him saying, hi sir, I recently saw this article that SIA is launching a new low-cost carrier. and I found it really exciting, and I wanted to know if there's any way I could be part of it.
Yeah.
And at 8:16 a.m., he replied my email saying, "Oh, thanks for your email, Harish. I forwarded your CEO your letter to the CEO designate." And then later that morning, I get an email from Mr. Campbell Wilson saying, "Oh, how about you come see me in my office in the afternoon?" So I went, and that started the whole conversation of like me being joining the team. So there were 8 department heads, and I joined as the 9th person. And literally, I was setting up the Wi-Fi, setting up printers, setting up Facebook. But it was cool because I joined before the airline had started, and to see something go from an idea to an actual airline blew my fucking mind. It was almost like a startup, lah.
Yeah.
And I think that was, and then with social media, and then I realized, oh shit, this is how you build something, and that really changed my perspective on what I wanted to do, lah.
Yeah, so I think I've also had like some limited interactions with him, and because I did some work with Scoot at the point also, and I think I was quite like, wow, like this guy, he was totally game to be, to appear to be very spontaneous for videos and all these things as well, which was very, you don't hear of CEOs in Singapore doing that, right? Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And I think that's one thing they don't teach you in school, right? Like your first few jobs is less about the work you do or the job you do, it's more about your boss.
Yes,
it's more about the people you report to, your manager, because they fucking shape everything about you. And like, they're just some people who in the presence of also, oh shit, there's a lot I can learn from this person, lah. Yeah, so shout out to you, Campbell. Frankie intern is the most embarrassing moment you can remember of each other. Huh. I mean, like, the reason why we are taking a bit of time to think is because we made it a point to not see the questions before we recorded this.
Yeah.
Just so we don't, it's not too polished, lah.
Most embarrassing. I think the one I felt, the one I remember there was once when you were made to, as part of a gig, you stayed in a haunted house overnight.
Oh.
Was it overnight? It was overnight, right?
12 hours.
12 hours watching TV, and then you would get like, basically they would like come and like scare you and all that, right? And I was watching it. I mean, I knew of the gig and everything. I was in touch with the people who were behind it all. And it was for a network that doesn't even exist anymore now. And I think I remember just watching you from home, lah. And then I saw that you were being made to like put lipstick on. You were in your underwear or something, right? Boxers or something.
I wore boxers over my pants.
Yeah, and then you had lipstick on, and you were just sitting there, and like, I don't know whether you were really enjoying yourself or what, lah. But it just looked like this is this is what he left. He left the corporate world to do this, lah. And then I remember just being with my wife or girlfriend at that time. Then we were just watching it, like feeling a bit sad, lah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as opposed to like, this is so funny. It was funny at first.
Told me.
It was funny at first, lah. When we're like, hey, Harish is doing this live stream. Then after like 6 hours in, then I see you like literally sitting there with makeup and like, or not even makeup, lipstick like drawn over your face.
Because it was 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. I think.
Yeah, and so I always felt like, hey, that's like, scaring you is one thing, lah, but humiliating you was another, lah, which I didn't feel very good about, lah. Yeah.
Oh.
And that's something we always talk about in our production also, right? Like, you can, if it's meant for a joke, right? Yeah, it's fine to the person make him look ugly and then it's meant for a joke. But that the culture of humiliating someone, especially like in the hazing kind of way, right? I always feel like, what is that really funny or is it really necessary? And I always feel a bit uncomfortable when I see situations like that. And that was one I saw, and I knew you were just being a professional, just finishing your job and everything. But the fact that I wasn't there to give any kind of feedback also, it made me feel very helpless watching you then.
Fuck you, lah. You were the one probably commenting, hey, why don't make this guy put lipstick? Because that was the thing, engaging with the fans, right?
No, not me. It definitely wasn't me.
Oh yeah, that was in 2017 maybe, something 2018.
Like,
most embarrassing moment. I think the one thing that I remember as being super funny, which I remember because on Friday we gave a talk where the picture came up. Yeah. You know which picture I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Is when we were recording a music video that so many links to put in the description.
Called
Snapback, yeah. So it was about the one thing that many guys who have gone through army would relate to is when you're outfield, you don't have access to water showers, you do a powder bath, lah.
Yeah.
You take prickly heat, you or pull out your underwear.
Yeah.
You pull out the band, you pour in the powder, and then you let go of the band, and pop, it hits your stomach,
Yep.
and you can almost see and like the instructors would check whether you have powdered your groin by asking you to pull your underwear band and snap it back,
Yeah.
Right, so it causes a cloud of powder to emanate from your nether regions. And we did a rap song about that. And there was this one scene where I needed to pop 2 balloons that I was holding at my groin that were filled with powder. And we were just capturing a slow-mo shot of that with a fucking epic camera. So someone needed to pop the balloons from below, which meant that person had to lie down on the ground and hold up 2 needles. And like the trooper he is, Terence said he'll do it.
Yeah.
So when he popped it, it was a great shot, you can see in the video, but the reality is all the powder fell on Terence's face, and because it was prickly heat, it burned, right?
Oh yeah. It did,
Yeah, because I remember you're like, oh, Bob, come through.
Yeah.
And we got a picture of it that sums it up perfectly. I think it's on our IG account. And yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we got to do for comedy.
But I felt zero embarrassment from that because it was part of a planned joke.
Yeah.
And you watch Mark Rober, you watch all these YouTubers do the experiments, and a lot worse shit. They go through a lot worse shit, right? But the one where you did, it was like...
You felt bad for me.
I felt bad because it was not... You were not told that you were going to be wearing your boxers outside and stuff like that.
So I guess the good thing is there's no memory that comes to mind where I felt bad for you. So either there really isn't any memory, or I don't give a fuck
Or I've avoided putting myself in those situations. Thankfully, I'm like, I think Harish is better for this.
Yeah, you gotta put yourself out there, man.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. So take it either which way. Okay, the next question is, what's something valuable that you have lost and you're still searching for now? Wow. This is a deep question.
My chin. It's true. I mean,
and are you still searching for it actively?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally in the last 3 years. I think it just it's just disappeared, man.
Your chin.
And it's not even like I'm not trying. During circuit breaker, I exercised a lot, everything, but just didn't work out, And I guess it comes with age, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Something that I've lost and searching for now. Wow. I guess it's good that no answer comes straight to my mind. But I know last year at some point when the pandemic hit the industry and we had that other issue with that one big issue that we can't really talk about now. Yeah, I felt like I lost a bit of direction.
Still searching for it now.
Yeah, still searching for it now. Yeah, now in terms of we as much as we love what we do and all that, it's still not an easy industry. It's still, you never know what the future holds.
Yeah.
And just going down that path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. I think it brings up that fantastic monologue that ends Woody Allen's Annie Hall movie. He says a guy goes to a doctor saying, "Hey, doctor, I have a problem. Like, what? My brother thinks he's a chicken." And then he says, "Okay, then." One of the doctors is like, "Why don't you just bring him in then?" He says, "But I still need the eggs." So that's the thing he says about life, lah. Life is like, it's not so much about everyone's crazy in some way.
Yeah.
It's not so much about the end goal, the end destination you reach, but it's about the process of searching for it. That's where you find joy, lah. Yeah. So everyone seems crazy to everyone, lah. For doing what you do, but that's why it's exciting. It's an exciting journey.
Yeah. Cool. All right. The next question: one Singapore dish you can eat exclusively for the rest of your entire life.
Chicken
One
rice.
Singapore dish.
Yeah, chicken rice. I think
for me it would be prawn mee, the soup one.
Okay.
Yeah, prawn mee soup.
Any particular store?
Last time I remember eating the Whitley Road prawn mee at Circular Road and it blew my mind. But the second time I went back, it wasn't that good. Now I think the Blanco Court prawn mee at Beach Road is quite nice.
Wait, how about the one not too far from here? The
Chai Peng Magic.
No, the Circuit Road, right? The prawn mee, if you go there at night.
No, I think I ate once with you. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, no, I think the one you must have dry.
Yes,
The
correct.
dry. I prefer soup.
Yeah, shout out to my friend Tsume. Her mother's store is it's still really good, lah. And it only opens after 8 p.m. at Circuit Road.
Because they're dead baller.
And there's always a line every night. And the lady there, she works 6 out of 7 days a week. Yeah, like 8 to 3 a.m. every night.
Wow.
And she does it because, not because like she absolutely needs to feed the family, because her kids are all university and all that. She just does it because she loves it. Yeah.
Alamak, does it because she loves it.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, and the most important and final question from Cranky Ethan is it omelette or omelette? Omelette or omelette? I think we know the answer to that question, okay? So, and we have debated this multiple times. I will still stand by omelette. And Terence, your answer is?
No answer. Yeah.
No answer.
As in, it's for you to answer.
Fuck you lah. You think you're get off your high horse lah.
Omelette.
Okay. We shall never know the true answer to that question.
There is no debate.
Never know. All right, moving on. Thank you, Cranky Ethan. Next one is Intelligent Eyes. Intelligent Eyes was just responding to that. Love the is it omelette or omelette question. All right. Team omelette. Don't know what it pronounced, but team. Okay. Yes. Then the next one from Raven Warriors. Some stuff I'm interested to know about MOF history. Wow, a lot of questions. Okay. How and when did MOF form? Who started the idea? I think we covered it.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah. Will you still go into this line of bloomer influencer individually if MOF didn't start? I don't know. I think I was veering towards content creation of some sort. So I think I would have found my way towards media in some way, shape or form. But whether I'm a personality or that sort of thing, I don't know.
I think for me, probably not. I mean, I don't even consider myself like influencer right now either. I still stand by more content creator than anything, or even filmmaker or whatever. But the truth is, I've always felt like I'm a little too old for the industry. Regardless whether when we started, when we were 30 and we were first hanging out with Sugar Shay at 21, making pickup videos, or even now, like, you know, when you're doing, like we just did our first stand-up and all that.
Yeah,
I'm like the fucking oldest dude there again.
Fucking first stand-up, yeah.
So I've always felt like I'm a bit older. But again, maybe that's what drives us to prove ourselves wrong also, right? So it's hard to say, but the more likelihood is that, because if I had to do it alone, I would probably just find some excuse to not do it, you know. But it's because I see Harish, he's plunging to it. Just whack. What's the worst that could happen? You know, I've seen Harish, he's danced in his underwear.
That is true.
Or not underwear, in spandex, like as a gymnast in the middle of Sota and stuff like that before. So what's the worst that could happen? He didn't go to jail, right?
Exactly. Cool. So, ever thought of giving up? How did your family and friends react to your career path? Ooh.
Wow, that's a loaded one. Of course. There are doubts about it. There are always doubts
Especially
about
last year.
Last year was tough, right?
Last year was tough.
Do you want to tackle the family question?
I mean, family and friends, I would say, friends have always been very supportive, most of them. And some have been fucking supportive. Like, it's just unbelievable how supportive they are, to the point where I feel like, why are they supporting me so much? So to those of you who are listening, I know some of you listen to this podcast also, so thank you so much. Family, I think they still, I think it's one of those things that they might never understand. But they've also never stopped me. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it always makes me feel better when I hear from people like even M. Night Shyamalan, Kumail Nanjiani, people from the Indian culture who have entered media who say even at this age now, they still, their parents still say stuff like, oh, you know, maybe one day you'll get a break. You catch your break, you know. So I think that's part of being in an industry that is not as almost quantifiable as a standard corporate job.
Yeah. I mean, that's why the earlier question, I put the parameter, you cannot talk about family, you talk about being grateful, because for me, my parents, they probably don't understand the industry, but they've never stood in my way of doing it. And I think that talks a lot to their style of bringing me up, or me and my brother up. They wanted us to, I mean, at the end of the day, they know it's about our own happiness. And it's when I sit down and explain to them, you know, if I continue doing this, if I continue doing something I don't like, I'll never be good at it, I'll never be happy and all that. And after that, they ask me questions, obviously, but they never come from a place of like belittling your thing. In fact, they probably like always wonder how they can help me, as opposed to like how they can persuade me to stop doing it or something like that lah. And for that, I think as much as I always say, that generation, I think I'm quite lucky that way lah. Yeah.
And I think, I don't know about you, but it also helped my case, the fact that I still worked in a corporate job for 4 years. So it's not like I just came out from school and I was like, you know what, I want to do this. I worked in a corporate job and I did my due diligence. I had savings, but I also realized like, okay, I've done it, I gave it a shot and I found this one thing that I think has a lot more potential. If it was, I can imagine if I didn't even want to go to school and all that, then I would face a lot more resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Finance. Just because we are in Singapore and the cost of living is so damn high, are you able to sustain your lifestyle with the money from MOF?
I think we talked about the money side of things, the last one already.
Yeah, but not as pointed as this question. I mean, the fact is that we're doing this, we can sustain ourselves.
Yeah.
Can we buy Lamborghinis and all that? Not yet.
Not yet.
But, I mean, ultimately, I think anyone who wants to pursue a path that is a little more risky, a little more volatile, you are going to have to make sacrifices. And both of us have made sacrifices in different ways. So you just need to find your balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all we'll say about that.
Yeah. Are there times when you need to take up a part-time job or staff due to lack of creative work?
I mean, if you're talking about freelancing, like your acting and all that, it's not because you lack creative work. It's just that when there's an opportunity that comes up. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's why not saying need to take a part-time job. I mean, thankfully, while there have been tough times in the past, we have been able to come out of the tougher times and all that. Part-time jobs is not taking up because we need to. I do want to act. And staff due to lack of creative work, thankfully no.
No, I would say it's been a no lah. We've managed to dig and find our way out of tough spots here and there lah.
Yeah. Do you guys split the profit equally, or is it based on roles like director, scriptwriter versus actor? That one is tough to answer because it's so different in many ways.
Yeah.
But I think like saying this in a way also I think might
oversimplify
things. Correct. Yeah.
So I think it's really depends on situation to situation.
Yeah.
So we'll do a KIV on this one lah.
Yeah.
One day when we have Lamborghinis, and we'll come back and tell you the details.
Yeah. And only because I think sharing it might misrepresent or oversimplify stuff lah.
Yeah.
Cool. Creative. Is there a clear split of roles in MOF?
I mean, definitely Harish is if being in front of camera, Harish is the one mainly in front of camera, right? Then behind is then a bit more dependent on other aspects lah.
Yeah.
Like whose idea was it, or who feels more for it, or or even if Harish is acting, then there's a lot of time. The reason why I direct also because it's tough to do so many roles at the same time. And even producing also sometimes depends like for the I think Harish was more intimately involved with the Vasantam pilot, and I was more involved with the Mandarin web series we're doing. Yeah. So it all depends on the circumstance and the time lah.
Yeah, but I think also certain things are a bit clearer. Like let's say if we are on set working on the same project, I would say Terence oversees the technical crew, the production stuff more than I do. Only because I'm not as familiar with it as he is. And when it comes to the cast, interacting with the cast, because I have a bit more experience there in acting, I would tend to focus on that lah. So yeah, broadly that sometimes how it's a bit more clear. But apart from that, when we wrote our TV series, She's a Terrorist and I Love Her, we literally split the episodes between me and Terence and one more writer who helped us out with one episode. Editing, same thing, split. So there's a lot of overlap lah. Yeah. Okay, ever had creative differences? Who has the final say?
Oh, every day.
Yeah, every day. Even
fucking day.
Yeah,
right?
every day.
Final say.
It's I don't think there's a final, like there's always one person who has a final say. Like I think our mantra is if you can't explain it to the other person and convince them, then you're not gonna get your say lah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, we can go in more. We do have a method to the madness,
Which I think we covered it in the previous.
we talked about the previous one. So, in the sense of a final say, there actually is a method to this kind of madness, lah. And you should, if you haven't listened to the first one, you should check it out.
Yeah, and I mean we never do stuff like okay, I think we should do it this way because I feel it's better.
Yeah.
If you can't explain it, if you can't articulate it, then it's a moot point lah.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. Okay, next one. I saw that Harish has a few acting roles in movies and short films. Terence, what other projects out of MOF do you have?
I mean, generally, I also do some corporate work, lah. Like, with helping ad agencies and with their various things, videos and things like that. So it's but thankfully, MOF is actually a much bigger chunk of my time than a lot of other things really, lah. Because once you go in the space of long form producing and all that, right? That means the TV shows and all that's like you're talking about a year-long commitment usually to get one show out, lah. So that almost becomes like your full-time job by itself, really.
Okay, final question from Raven Warriors. Are you worried that Harish will become a big-time Hollywood actor and ditch MOF in the future, Terence? What are your thoughts?
Huh? Is that a possibility right now? Or
Hey.
No, but the thought always is that, I mean, it'd be fantastic if Harish gets noticed and then is in a Marvel movie or something like that, all right? Because I think the understanding that we've learned over the past few years is that you can have one big break and star in a HBO show and all that, and then the following day you're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life again, lah? Right?
Yeah.
So you don't ever take this whole like, oh, I'm a big star now thing for granted and all. And I think in that sense, like I think the process of creating is still very strong in both of us. So regardless of whatever successes you get out there, I think we there's always a fundamental wanting to come back to the roots of what we do as that's what grounds us, lah.
Well, you got a lot of faith in me. You don't think I'll just be like, yo, fucking Henry Golding, yeah.
No, if it's so, I think after the HBO show already, you would have like, I'm an actor now, I mean, I literally saw Harish in a pink bathrobe walking around the set with someone carrying an umbrella to make sure that he didn't get a tan or anything and following him around. And I was like, what a fucking dickhead. And then I was like shooting BTS. I was helping to shoot BTS because we agreed to do that for our channel.
Yeah.
And we were all like, wow, this is such a dickhead thing. And I think I told you about it also, right?
Yeah, you told me.
And,
but that one also like if I wasn't an actor and I saw an actor on set walking around with someone following him with an umbrella, I'll be like, yeah, what a fucking dickhead. But there is an admin logistical reason. It's because if the actor sweats, the makeup artist is gonna have a fucking problem, and then the makeup will run and it won't be consistent across scenes. So that's where I'm like, Terence, shut the fuck up. Okay, there's a practical use for it.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, let's say if I do become a big time Hollywood actor or something, I think the one thing I've also realized is that what I enjoy more is creating stuff that either I can act in or that can bring actors in. So if I were to become a big time Hollywood actor, that would be fucking dope. But I would want to produce stuff alongside that, lah. Like, yeah, of course, if I'm a big time Hollywood actor, that opens doors for other projects that then Terence and I can work on and build something like. And that's what you see people like Brad Pitt do. They all make, like, even Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he has his $7 productions, right? And I think that is something that I think is a good way to go, because if you're just focused on acting, that you can go down that path if you're like a Leonardo DiCaprio or something. Even he's moving into producing.
Yeah,
he's done documentaries and all that.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is out of interest, but part of it is also you want to be able to create projects that are bigger than yourself, so that if you're not part of it, you still have something.
Yeah. And work with people that you don't also share the same kind of ethics, work ethic, ethos and things. And because it's really hard to find people that you can click with on various levels.
Yeah.
And one thing I also want to shout out to ourselves is that Harish was talking about getting other actors in. I just noticed this the other day is that like someone like Noah Yap, right, for example, it started with like I can't remember what's the first video we did together at all.
The littering prank.
Littering prank,
Yeah,
and it
we
just
should
starts
put the
from
link
this
in the show notes.
like it starts from this stupid littering prank video, and then after that it's like a wrestling thing, and then we're like, hey, actually we get along well and all that, and then he's like starring in our first English TV show, and then subsequently we do a Mandarin web series, and although he's not fully conversant in Mandarin, he's there on the ride with us also lah. So it's like.
And even now,
It's almost like you grew up with this person creatively.
and our audio pilot also. He's
he's an
acting
audio
alongside
pilot.
me. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like
he's everywhere.
and it's just cool that as we've grown as well, we managed to
Yeah.
work with people that we like and bring them with us along this journey.
Yeah, and I mean that's why when I used to look at like directors like Quentin Tarantino, always working with Christopher Waltz or Samuel L. Jackson, I'm like, really no choice. But there's something very magical about people that you have worked with that you really click, that you bring along with you lah. In my mind, it's almost like we've been in this long form game for the past few years, and slowly in my mind I'm building up like this Avengers team of creative talent lah, and production talent. So if we do get a budget to make our first feature film, I already know off the top of my head who are the people I want to work with and bring them on lah, because it's fucking magical when you create good stuff with good people.
And what's the number one rule about these people?
Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
Exactly.
don't be an asshole. And if we can't see ourselves hanging out with you outside the set, then sorry, you're not going to be on the set.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's the last question. Oh, They Call Me King responded to that. Just want to add, if it's just both of you running MOF now, I remember you guys mentioned that there were more employees in the past. Yes, there were more employees in the past. And yes, right now at the core of it, Terence and I are the main people running MOF. But because we work on a lot of projects, long form projects, and all that, every project involves a different team that we assemble. Yeah. And that was something that I think, thankfully, we have been in the industry long enough to know people like that. So it allows us to stay flexible and deal with shit like the pandemic lah.
Yep, that's right.
Cool. Okay, another longer post from Intelligent Eyes. Amazing thread. Excited for the Amma episode. Community posted some awesome questions. Curious one too. Especially the monetization of the podcast question. I feel it's sad that we always equate the value of effort to dollars and cents. But I think we have addressed it a couple of times already.
Yes.
Here are two more questions. How long does it take for each of you to prep, searching for a topic, finding opposing talking points, etc. for one Yalabat episode? Do you guys have any help at the moment, i.e. an automated news feeder, an intern, a freelancer?
I mean, usually about a day or something like that.
About a day. I think both of us have our own system of finding news. Like I have a bunch of bookmarks and like notes and spreadsheets and tabs.
Open.
And I think because we make a conscious effort to consistently read and consume content on our own, like just watching news sources or reading articles that I wouldn't read normally. So yeah, and we don't have any automated news feeder in the sense like Google Trends and all. An intern, freelancer. No freelancers for the podcast. Intern, I know some people have sent in internship requests, and we are considering. So if you are interested, just send it in via IG or something. And then also noticed that recently Harish said he moved out. Are you living alone or you went down the BTO already route with your girlfriend? What are your thoughts on moving out in the later stage of adulthood and not in your 20s? Just curious. Thanks, guys. So I have moved out. I am living with my girlfriend. It's not a BTO. And like, even though I moved out now, I actually moved out way earlier, in 2012. And I think moving out now is a lot more common than what it seemed, because in 2012, I was like 27, 28. And when I was going to move out with a friend and a couple of other friends, I don't know anyone else my age who was also moving out. So I think it was a bit rare at that point in time, which made me feel like a badass rebel. And it was great. I moved in with people who have become my best friends. But the year later, I actually moved back home because my dad passed away. So I will say that, of course, I would have loved to live out away from home because, there's a certain sense of freedom and all. But it was during that time that I realized, oh, okay, life happens lah. You just gotta adapt, and I can't hold on to this desire of like living alone and bringing back, like dates and stuff like that. So then I was living at home with my mom because it was just her for the past few years, and then I moved out now lah. Yeah, because my brother came back. Yeah, so thoughts about moving out in the later stage of adulthood and not in your 20s. I mean, I think living alone is a great experience if you can. If you're not just like sacrificing a bunch of other stuff just to pay rent. If you can, I always recommend it lah. As early as possible, actually.
Because rent is so expensive in Singapore.
Yeah.
It almost makes little to no economic sense lah.
Yeah.
But if it's for your sanity and stuff like that, then you can't put a price on that lah. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, like, you spend more on rent, but if you cut down other things, if you're just starting out work-wise and income is not the most disposable, you have less income.
You're less disposed of.
Less disposed, yeah. So okay, DJ D on Raj asks, I'm a big fan of your podcast and I love the episode you did with Rishi, especially the part when you all talked about your NS stories. I would love to hear more about your NS journey. I'm enlisting next month. He put this comment about a month ago. So if it's not too late, I mean, hear more about NS journey. I went to BMT, then OCS, then commissioned as infantry officer, went to an armored unit, and that was that. I think we've spoken about it before also.
We have. I went to, I was a guards spec. I mean, I went to, so back then it was called CISPEC, BMT, CISPEC, guards spec. And I mean, the one fun fact is that my battalion was the one guards battalion to ever beat the commandos in recent memory for best combat unit overall. And you really look up the histories with commando all the way. Then there's one blip in 2002 or 2003, I can't remember, where guards battalion won, and it was my battalion. That's why I was one of those rewarded to go to Hawaii and train with the US Marines. Like our company in particular. Yeah. Went to Hawaii to train alongside the Marines.
Fucking NS trip go Hawaii.
Yeah.
Since when you hear that, yeah?
No, it's only for the elite soldiers lah. The best of the best lah. Of course. The ones that you send in first for war.
Of course, yes. Of course.
That was I mean, wow, NS is such a long thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the one thing I realize is that NS, I think we've also said this on the podcast, and it's common advice you hear is that you either, if you want to go all out, don't be afraid of going all out because you'll be judged and all. There's still a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn about yourself. Don't look at it as, it's 2 years waste. I'm just going to waste it away. Just try and make the best of it lah. As cliche as it sounds.
Was that what we said? No, I think what we said was that either you go all out and then you become officer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Or you go all out and just don't do anything and try to get office job and all that, right?
Yeah.
That's what we say.
Yeah. So mine was more towards the first one lah.
Yours was being very positive about it.
Very positive, yeah.
Mine is the more
I guess don't waste that 2 years. If you want to go either way, like you want to go office job and all, then you have time after work and all.
Correct.
There's still a lot that you can do.
Yeah, go and upskill, go and DJ, go and do something.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. We're not saying just be a bum for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a bum.
We're saying because for some people, regimentation and all that is for them, right? They enjoy it and they enjoy hierarchy and all this. Whereas for some, it's just really not in their blood. And for those who is not in the blood, then you got to use the time to go and do other things. Go volunteer, go study, go and whatever lah.
Go and date.
Yeah, go and date. Yeah. If you can, go and date. Yeah.
If you're horny as fuck.
Yeah. If you can book out and you're horny as fuck, go and date.
Book out and horny as fuck, yeah. Okay, next one from Tomato Cultivator. What are your credit card numbers, expiry date, and the 3-digit number at the back of the cards? Nice one.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. From Mighty Jingy. 5 questions. First, what would you consider your best favorite purchase in the past 1 year? Somewhat a one shiok thing.
You want to go ahead first? I'm trying to think.
I would say a backpack that I got from Decathlon, like a work backpack. Because I think for me, I've always wanted like a nice. If I'm gonna be going to work, I want a backpack that fits well, that does the job of carrying the laptop and a bunch of other stuff, and still looks cool. And I got it from Decathlon, which is a place I never thought I'd get a work backpack from. Yeah, so I like that.
Oh shit, man. I don't. I think I constantly buy shit, but I'm not that in love with it that I would remember it as the best thing I bought in the last year, lah. Yeah.
So you're a hoarder.
I mean, I have a lot. I have a lot of shit, lah. Okay, I guess if anything, maybe services wise, I think getting sleep training for my kid was a very wise decision. That was recommended by Harish, actually. Getting a sleep trainer to work with for my child. So my child actually has very regular naps and sleep now, and that also gives me back a bit of my life. Even though he's still a toddler, lah, still an infant, lah, yeah.
And if you might be wondering how a single person like Harish gave Terence advice on getting a baby sleep trainer, it wasn't I chanced upon it because my friend told me about him getting a sleep trainer for his kid that changed his life, lah.
Yeah. It wasn't that you were using it on like your mother or anything like that.
No, no, man, no. Okay, number 2. If MediaCorp offered you both to host a radio show, would you take it?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Would you?
I would say if we can do it on our own terms, if we don't need to have a lot of editorial censorship about the one we want to talk about, yeah, I would consider it.
But that's unrealistic, lah, right?
So that's why if it's just to take over a current show, no.
Yeah. So to you, there's zero appeal in like, oh, and this is this song coming out is by Katy Perry and blah blah blah.
No, I mean, I think like objectively, I still think it'll be an interesting job. Because like there's a certain niceness to stuff that is current. You put it out, you immediately get distribution. People hear you, but to know that we can do this on our own and build something of our own, have a direct engagement with our fans. Why the fuck would I do that?
I mean, I think about it because. Yeah, like when you were younger and then, you're studying late into the night or something like that. A lot of times the only person accompanying you was Glenn Ong, say it with music, 12 to 2 a.m. kind of thing. And it's a very nice, it's a very, in fact, our podcast is a very nice throwback to that era of like, podcasts. I mean, of radio shows and things like that. Now radio is a totally different entity. So yeah, maybe if there was something like that where it felt much more conversational, felt more like, a radio host that accompanies you through the night kind of thing. That interests me a bit more, lah. Yeah.
Even if there was a bit more censorship and all, and you couldn't say
because
things.
If it's about the music and then just about talking about what happened during the day or something like that, I feel like there is a way to do it without having to step on people's toes or use vulgarities and still be engaging and still say something interesting, lah. I think radio back then was a lot more. It had more of that, and now it feels much more manufactured, much more about how many radio dollars and stuff like that, lah.
So maybe the next question should be: if Terence becomes a big MediaCorp star, would he ditch MOF? MediaCorp radio star.
Radio DJs don't become big stars
unless you're Howard Stern,
or Sonia Chu.
Sonia Chu.
But then after that, don't go and appear at people's house during circuit breaker.
Yeah, that's right. While posting that everyone should wear their mask and play a part.
Yeah. Just kidding. I mean, everyone makes mistakes. She also owned up to a mistake. So it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, number 3. Did you guys interact with Narelle after she came on the show, and how was it? Actually, we haven't. I think after the show release, I told her, blah, thanks for coming and all that. But apart from that, I think also because, the circuit, the phase 1 was still there. I haven't met her on set anywhere.
Correct. Yeah. It's not, we don't necessarily like constantly keep a line of contact with people that we have on our podcast or even work with for that matter.
Yeah.
But
even serendipitous meetings, like we met her brother Ben King at the Asian Creative Academy Awards.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to see other people in the industry. But we haven't met her. Yeah. Okay.
But we would gladly say hi, lah.
Yeah. If she wants to come on the podcast, sure.
Again, yeah, definitely.
Sure. Okay. Would you guys ever consider emigrating permanently?
I think since COVID, that thought has much more seriously crossed my mind quite a few times. And also having a kid and all. I think it's not just, because life is more than just about like which is the safest place to be. At the end of the day, a lot of us, we feel quite like restricted in not being able to travel, right? And there's a reason why, lah, right? And then I do enjoy nature a lot, and I have not seen as much nature as before. Last time we used to go diving or go overseas trips or hiking. Of course, you can say, yeah, this is all privileged people do. But my hope is that if you can't do it in a city, then you can at least go to the backcountry to do it. But in Singapore, we don't really have that luxury, you see. So that thought definitely has come more to the forefront of my mind.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, in the past year, yeah.
For me, I would consider it. I wouldn't say a blanket no. Yeah, I would consider it.
Yeah. Because work-wise also, I mean, you were talking about producing all that. I mean, the last year we've been doing a lot of things remotely also. So it's not complete impossibility if you talk about spending a lot of time in one country versus another and things like that.
I mean, my dream would be, I mean, if it's like based in Singapore but doing projects outside, that would be fucking dope.
That would be the best.
Like,
right?
we're going to Morocco to film our second feature film, and I'll be there for 3 months. Ooh, that would be fucking dope.
Yeah.
Be
and then
great.
I guess that's the good thing about our industry. Sometimes you don't know where it takes you, right? Sometimes.
All right, number 5. Do you guys have any rules on the podcast? Can't talk about certain things. No.
Yeah, we're quite open about if we don't want to talk about it also, right?
Yeah. Like we really do not have a rule, and I'm not just saying this. We don't have a rule. When we have guests, we do ask them, okay, is there anything you don't want us to talk about? And if they say their son or something, yeah, sure. But that's why we are so confident in being able to not edit the podcast and cut out stuff, because there are no rules.
Yeah, correct.
No rules. All right. Jungle Jimbo 88, long time listener. Your time at Wharton. Oh, I think they were just responding to us talking about our time at Wharton School of Business. Okay, Jungle Jimbo. Straight answer, please. Who is your vote for preferred candidate as Singapore's next PM? Alamak. That one tough, yeah. I don't know, like, I don't even have a straight answer because I don't know enough about the other candidates as well, and I haven't seen enough.
Yeah, and before we, say anyone did a particularly good job in handling COVID-19, we're in the throes of another wave in Singapore.
Potential wave
in Singapore. So we can't really assess and say that anyone in particular has done a magnificent job. Yeah, so I like them. They themselves are having trouble finding a front runner. So I really struggle to say one is better than the other.
Yeah, and like Ong Yi Kung, he's just taking over as Minister of Health, and boom, baptism of fire, boy.
Baptism of fire.
All right. Yeah. Was there some trigger event that prompted you to give up your YouTube short comedy sketch MOF channel? So as we mentioned before, we haven't given up on it. It's just that the content needs to fit that format. And right now, thankfully, there are other projects of other formats that we are working on right now.
Yeah.
Anything?
No.
Okay.
I think that's it.
What's the decision? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, last warning. Okay, we just have a handful more questions. Hi, both. Really enjoy the podcast. This is from Last Warning. Keeps my commute to and fro work a little less dull. Plus, with the mask on nowadays, I can smile and silently laugh at your jokes in public without looking weird. My questions. What is one movie that inspires you and why?
For me, it's I think Woody Allen's Annie Hall. It's a movie that I almost try to watch every year, at least once, just to remind myself of how I started to really enjoy this in the first place. Yeah.
Okay, mine is What We Do in the Shadows by Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Not the series, the movie.
No, the movie.
Okay.
It's like Taika Waititi. He was very famous in New Zealand, but not famous around the world. Famous with his independent films. Then he made this comedy, which is almost like a mockumentary about these 4 vampires living in a New Zealand city and dealing with everyday life. And that kind of gave him quite a bit of traction in film festivals and all that. And then, boom, after that, he was the Marvel director of Thor.
Yes.
Of Thor, right? Then he made the movie about Hitler, which is called what?
Jojo
Rabbit, yeah. So he's like, to me, it's like, the movie blew my mind because it's not a very high production movie. It was just a cool story that really embraced what it meant to be a New Zealander. And to me, I was like, oh, fuck, if why can't we do that in Singapore? Like why can't we do a movie like that in Singapore? That if you think about even ghosts, he did with vampires. We have so many ghosts in pop culture in Singapore, but there's never been anything that has taken life in a way that is smart comedy lah.
Yeah.
So whenever I watch it, I'm like, fuck man, this is so awesome and I love him.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next question. Favorite hawker food and why?
Oh, chicken rice.
Mine is prawn mee.
We mentioned
Why? I would say just because it feels like it's less unhealthy than other hawker food and it's still nice. I don't know how unhealthy it is.
Yeah. For me, chicken rice because it's just like
Hits the spot.
It's just a unique flavor that you never taste anywhere else. Yeah.
Okay, how did the "What's Up Everybody" intro come about? To be honest, it's pretty catchy and puts me in a good mood. Wow, that's awesome. Actually, I don't even remember how we talked about introducing.
We didn't talk about it. Yeah. No, it's just the way you talk. It's just the way you talk.
I talk.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, that was how we started our
That's
YouTube
how,
videos.
yeah, that's
What's
how
up,
you talk
everybody?
on YouTube. Yeah.
Even my friends make fun of me for that. But
Yeah.
so when we started this, I honestly don't think we had a conversation before we recorded the first Yalabat saying, okay, how are we going to start? I think it was just, what's up, everybody?
I mean, I've always thought it's like, oh, it's them boomer.
Yeah, it's them boomer.
What's up, everybody?
It's fucking
them
boomer.
But okay, I guess it makes someone happy, right?
Yeah, it does. No, but I think, now there's this whole retro movement of things that were cool that are coming back, right?
Yeah.
And what's up is among those things.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Last warning. Favorite podcast episode and why?
Oh, it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have...
Mine is the most recent one we did with Rishi. Because I remember after that podcast, I was like, fuck, I remember myself laughing so much. And it was fun. It entertained me. And we did talk about current affairs that were interesting as well.
I think, wow, my favorite podcast episode. Yeah, it definitely was with one of the guests. I'm just trying to decide whether it was the one with Xiaxue or the one with the True Love is guys lah. Yeah, just because. Okay, then I will go on a limb and say that it was talking the True Love is because I just felt like this was what we are talking about when we talk about wanting to challenge ourselves, challenge our own beliefs. Because probably in our minds, I know in our minds we're like, that, this True Love is everything we've heard about them is terrible. And I watch the videos, I'm like, it's propaganda and all these things. But yeah, to have them on board, I was actually like quite nervous about it initially. And I felt like, this is going to be quite a challenge to us in terms of like just engaging with them and making sure that we also push back on certain things lah, but also give them a chance to explain themselves and come to some kind of understanding as to where they're at and what we think as well lah. And I believe that particular podcast started to spur a lot of more conversations within the Christian community as well, and they met up separately for from what I heard from them was that they also met up
with
separately.
The Free Community Church.
Yeah, they had lunch and everything.
Right? Yeah.
And the trigger point was that podcast. So knowing that kind of context of what that podcast meant to a lot of people and what even meant to me in my growth as a person, as a podcaster, so to speak, I feel that is my favorite podcast. Yeah.
Oh, very well thought out. Very mature.
No, yeah, and the fact that there were 4 people on the podcast, and Harish and I have agreed between ourselves that actually usually like 3 is always easier than 4, but we will say, okay, let's just go forward with it and see what we can do. So even like little things like that really push you and challenge you and get you out of your comfort zone. I think those are the most memorable.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, the final question, which is from ZZ Way. Have you thought of monetizing the podcast by also posting the video version on YouTube? You already have a good base of audience and can earn some nice video revenue from there. So, just to correct you about making money from just YouTube ads, unless you get millions of views every day, you're not going to be getting anything that is very substantial. And we are going to be uploading Yalabat videos on YouTube, but it's not going to be on the MOF YouTube. Because we do still intend to put stuff up on the MOF YouTube channel at some point, but we just want to make sure that, it's still stuff that our subscribers subscribe for.
Yeah.
Right.
You get what you came for. You came for pickup videos. I want pickup videos. I want to see Harish in a school uniform picking up young girls.
Yeah, you don't want to listen to 2-hour conversations about
LGBT
issues. Yeah.
Or
But also because
differences.
we did upload our first round of podcasts back in 2018 on our YouTube channel, and we realized, oh shit, it was kind of screwing up the channel because our subscribers were like, what the fuck? We didn't subscribe to this, and the view count was not the best.
Yeah.
As in, it didn't compare to our previous videos, and then it may have affected our distribution, our search, our organic placement on YouTube.
Yeah. But if someone has a different opinion on this,
Yeah.
please also tell us, because for us is really like, that's what we think about the current state of YouTube and everything.
Yeah, exactly. The next part of the question from ZZWay, or more a comment. A question. Yalabat got a lot of traction for multi-episode topics like elections and LGBT and Christianity. I got hooked on these episodes and gave me a lot of perspectives outside our echo chamber. Ever thought of converting these materials to YouTube so that it reaches more audience, like a compilation album? I guess one of the reasons why we want to upload this on YouTube is because as the podcast industry kind of matures and more people get onto it, it's still a niche audience. And YouTube is a lot more accessible to a lot more people. And if people can share YouTube videos at a certain time code, it feels like it would reach a different audience. And putting it up videos as well, it does make it more searchable and more evergreen. So yes, we do want to put those kind of things up on YouTube.
Yep.
But retroactively, it will be tough because we didn't record videos of those conversations. But going forward, we want to, especially for evergreen topics.
Yep.
Cool. That is the last question, man.
Yeah.
Wow, this has been long.
We don't need to do a one shot comment because obviously, we've had a lot of comments already. So we'll do the one shot thing segment. Regardless.
Yes.
So what is your one shot thing?
My one shook thing is the announcement from Bo Burnham, who's also, I would say, one of my heroes. He went viral on YouTube like 10 years ago when he was 14 or something, just by musical compositions, musical comedy songs that he made in his bedroom. And then at 16 or 17, he performed his first 1-hour comedy special. And then he carried on doing 1-hour specials. And then now he even wrote and directed 8th Grade. He is getting more acting roles, but he just posted, I think 3 days ago, that he recorded a new special with just him, no crew, throughout the course of the pandemic, just from his own house.
Wow.
And he's going to be releasing it soon, and I can't fucking wait. This guy is a genius. He's a comedic genius.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Self-recorded.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
My one shock thing is I just saw John Woo's old classic, A Better Tomorrow, on Netflix. I was just browsing Netflix the other day and decided to watch an old show. And the one that does these old action movies, like these action directors from Hong Kong do. This was pre-Face Off and everything, Chow Yun-fat. So it was just there's something about it. There's heart, and then you seeing old Hong Kong and a young Chow Yun-fat and young Leslie Chung, all that is pretty awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you just want to understand how a lot of even like people like Quentin Tarantino, like we mentioned, all got inspired by these action directors from Hong Kong. Yeah, you just need to look at these classics.
I see. All right.
Cool.
Are we at the end of the podcast?
Yes, and in fact, we have a special announcement. If you've made it all this way thus far, it is in relation to actually the live show that we're doing, because we literally just got this awesome news that will benefit you.
And we are doing a giveaway of tickets.
Yes.
So the show is going to be happening from 6th to 8th May at 8:15 p.m. every night. And what we found out is that, we can do a giveaway for a ticket per day, per show. Yeah.
Yep.
So all you need to do is share this episode on Instagram stories and tag us, Ministry of Funny.
Yeah.
And within the next 48 hours, we will announce the winner.
Yeah.
On Wednesday,
Correct.
5th May. for a ticket on either the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th of May, which is this Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's your little treat for listening all the way to the end.
Yeah, good. Cool. All right. That's all, and talk to y'all soon.